Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we proudly present our spectacular show of podcast magic and imagination full of Disney wonder, news, and pop culture. It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast with Jenn Dave and David Dollar.
Hey, Jen.
Hey, Dave.
It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast. The smiles and laughs are already here as we've been joking around before the show even starts. As we are, it's early July, actually. July 4th. Happy 4th. Happy Freedom Rings to America. And to hope everybody had a great holiday over the weekend. Of course, our family was out with the in-laws, and my kid got eaten up with bugs, and he got mosquito bites all over the place, and including places that you don't usually show at parties. Poor little kid. And so, otherwise, we had a great 4th. How was your 4th, by the way? You didn't do anything exciting, did you?
Oh no, it was completely uneventful in Walt Disney World. It was amazing.
Well, I guess that's the question then: is how did you Disney this week and maybe this weekend?
I Disneyed this weekend specifically by being in Disney World for the. Specifically, it was there for I call it the grand reopening of the fireworks. The magic is back, people.
Of course.
And then obviously, if you're already down there, you're gonna stay through the weekend because it's a holiday weekend.
Well, we wrap week-long trips around a 3-hour or 2-hour doctor's appointment when we go down there, so it's understandable. Might as well stay the weekend. Why not?
Shoot, someone's gotta. So kind of held down the fort down there, enjoyed everything, and amazing.
Very cool. We will talk a little bit more about that trip because we want to hear kind of a trip report. And I got some questions for you to kind of how it looks down there in the warm or maybe the cool July air. Of course, we'll talk about that down in a few minutes after some news. But we'll tell you that I Disneyed by going to Nashville yesterday. My friend of mine named Terry has a conference every year called The Thing, and this was kind of a mini event, a one-day event where we had some speakers, got some great ideas, some great business ideas, some things for, of course, Magic on a Dollar travel planning, which is a proud part of Upon a Star Travel and Concierge. And I Disneyed by pulling out my Bolt notebook. I am a spiral-bound notebook fiend.
Oh, dear.
Spiral-bound notebooks are my love language. And Disney spiral-bound notebooks are amazing. I worked at the Disney store. My second stint with the Disney store, my first stint actually was in Montgomery, Alabama, when the Disney store was open there at a mall called Montgomery Mall. It has been since condemned due to gang activity, but that's neither here nor there. So this was 96, 97, and I worked there and I had a great time. So my second stint with the Disney store was at our local Disney store here in Birmingham, Alabama at the mall, at the Galleria. And I was assistant manager at the store. And of course, I would purchase spiral-bound notebooks as they came available. I have a Wally notebook. I have my Bolt notebook, and I have a Tinkerbell notebook. And there are some pages that have been used on some of those, but I haven't used a lot of those. So I decided to grab my Bolt notebook and kind of make that my notebook is things I'm jotting down, some ideas, things like that. My idea book, and it's wide ruled, which means I have plenty of space in the margins to write stuff, which is great. And so I was able to use my Bolt notebook. It's got Bolt stickers I've never actually used, which is pretty awesome. It's got a little Bolt pocket in the front, and so it's pretty great. I love my Bolt notebook.
You're like a 6th grader. It's great.
Well, still, I'll be honest with you. If we had Disney Trapper Keepers, holy crap, I would show up to conferences with those. I'd be like, forget my fanny pack. I go to the parks with my Trapper Keeper. I'd be like, look, I got a pencil pocket and a pocket for my pens and a little zippy little Ziploc pocket here that's got a rip in 2 days.
So what you're saying is a few of these things that I have up here in this closet, you would be completely.
Well, I can't see because right now you're pointing towards the Grand Floridian, which is your
I mean, you'd be jealous about that too. No, I have a few spiral-bound notebooks with little pen holders and things.
Well, I have spiral-bound notebooks full of like client notes
use
and
them
things
though.
like that. And I have a stack of Disney notebooks that are unused that will go through time. I'll get through those, and it's kind of weird because I don't like using them necessarily for client stuff. Because once I use them for client stuff, once the trips have happened, the notebooks get kind of put away,
right? And
eventually they get shredded and destroyed because there's a bunch of information in there that that I don't write down everything, by the way, because I'm not crazy. I'm not that insecure, but I keep my notebooks and everything in there.
Right.
We shred them eventually, but I don't want to shred this. Once my Bolt notebook is full, I probably will keep it because it'll be full of my ideas and my thoughts and
wonderful.
My business ideas of how to carry this agency on my back even further.
Oh, gee whiz.
Because I'm such a benevolent worker and Upon a Star traveling concierge. So let's get to some Disney news. All right, so we got a handful of little topics here, and this is things that I didn't even realize there was so much going on. I mean, I knew there was a lot going on, but I'm like, well, we got 2 or 3 things to talk about. And as I started to make a list, I'm like, man, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. First, of course, being Tropical Storm Elsa. And that is the tropical storm, hurricane slash tropical storm slash hurricane slash storm that developed in the Gulf Coast or
It's
in the
been
Bahamas,
back and forth.
and kind of back and forth, kind of gone. Basically, the projection was, the rumor was it's going to be a Category 4 hurricane. It's going to come straight up Florida and destroy everything in its path, because that's what we hear all the time. And you were kind of giving some insight from your perspective down being down in Florida, which we have a weatherman down there.
Yes,
that you really enjoy paying attention to.
I do.
So give us an update on Hurricane Elsa, Miss Meteorologist.
Yeah, well, yeah, I just play one on TV. So what's funny is it's actually no longer a hurricane. It is a tropical storm at this point. Not to say it could not pick back up, but the person who I really watch all the time is Dennis Phillips. He's Denis, and then Phillips has 2 L's, 1 P, and he is based out of the Tampa Bay area. And I am not the only person who watches him for hurricane updates, because if you watch, other weather stations, I won't mention them by name, but they always tend to, it has headlines if it's disastrous. Let's be real. If all you do is weather, any weather event, that's kind of your thing. And you're like, but this could be really bad. And yes, of course, any storm could be, but he is very balanced, and that's why I like it. And he has been so accurate with those big storms, like, I think Matthew a couple years ago, and
right.
the other ones I've blocked out of my head that I can't remember. That
there's been a lot.
There've been a few of them, but I have followed him, and it's been like, like, it's okay, like everything's okay.
Right.
So I actually am just looking at his update. He's currently live, so I can't really watch everything. The National Hurricane Center did issue a hurricane watch, but right now there's no changes to the tracker intensity. It is still a tropical storm at this point. It's going to go out toward the Gulf, skim. It's going to be more Tampa Bay area affected, storm surge. Not that winds can't be an issue, but most likely the biggest issue is the water and the rainfall. But again, not that the rest of Florida won't get stuff. You always have to be prepared if they live down there. But he has it's this huge, long, if you could see this list, but he's saying it's pretty disorganized. And he just says, secure your stuff. The winds might, pick back up once it hits the Gulf, but, just kind of keep an eye on it. It is sort of hugging the coast though. And they are saying it's supposed to make landfall sometime today to overnight, it looks like, as of an hour ago, which doesn't mean it couldn't change. So there you go.
Well, good deal. Good.
By this point on Thursday, everyone's like, yeah, we know what happened.
Exactly. Well, by the time a lot of people hear this, maybe even over the weekend, it may have fizzled itself out, or we know what's going to happen with it. And, so this may be old news to you. So just, skip it.
Yeah. Tampa Airport is closing though. I just scrolled back a little bit. They are closing the airport just because of the winds. Because the worst ones are overnight.
Coast. They're right there on the coast.
And they're right there on the coast, which makes sense. So you're going to see some of that, just people being safe. Winds
An
are
abundance of caution, as we've heard.
Oh, yes, abundance of caution.
Abundance of
that's
caution.
what we do.
Abundance of caution.
Yes.
So we got a couple of sad stories here first. Let's get to these first.
Oh, man.
First of all, the PCH Grill and Steakhouse 55 at Disneyland are closed. And with Disneyland Hotel reopening, we were hoping that these would reopen, which PCH Grill, I believe, is over at Paradise Pier,
Paradise Pier.
which was already open. And these two are not opening. They're not reopening again.
They're not reopening.
Yeah, PCH Grill is it had Disney characters for buffet breakfasts and brunches. I've been there before. It's they also had a dinner buffet with that character. Not coming back. Steakhouse 55, one of the highest rated and pricier restaurants on Disneyland property.
Shocks me.
Yeah, because
that shocks me.
Have you eaten? Did you eat either one of these? Have you had?
I've not been to Steakhouse 55 was one of the ones that was on my list for next time I went.
Well, PCH Grill, like I said, I've been there for breakfast. We had it at an AEP agent meeting a couple of years ago with a previous agency, and it was good. It was really fun. I mean, it kind of reminded me of Cape May in Disney World, which is still not reopened with characters yet. It's open, just no characters.
Right.
But it was pretty good. Steakhouse 55, I did not have dinner there. I had breakfast there, and breakfast was phenomenal. It was my Disneyland trip, I want to say May 2019, and it was the last day, and I just kind of walked over and was like grabbing breakfast before I headed out for the airport, and it was super, super good. we don't know why they're closing. Goofy's Kitchen, of course, is supposed to reopen. There's no news on that yet, and I can't imagine Goofy's Kitchen not reopening.
That would be crazy.
That's a hugely popular attraction.
Really, really popular.
Especially with characters, because otherwise, why would you go there? Why would you not go to one that's close to the park or go to Storytellers or something?
But it is. I mean, the food is really good.
Yeah, it reminds me of Chef. That's like Chef Mickey. Really, it really.
I think the food's better than Chef Mickey.
Could be. I mean, it's been a while. I don't know, but I enjoy Goofy's Kitchen. I went there in January of 2020 when we went down for an agency trip.
Yeah,
and that was my first night there. I had Goofy's Kitchen for the first time, so it was really, really good. But yeah, those two are not reopening, and we don't really know why. Also, on the same food trek, the Universal dining plan is gone.
Yeah.
And also, we're not really sure why that's happened either. Universal
we were shocked.
Yeah, Universal just came out and said, yeah, so we're not going to have our dining plan anymore. And it was just out of nowhere. It just kind of dropped and it was done. They discontinued both their full service and quick service dining plans, which allowed guests to prepay for meals at a discounted rate.
Right.
A quick service plan was available for all guests. Full service was only for people on the resort. No information about that as well. Now, if you do have a package, one of these packages, they will allow you to continue to use it until your trip is over. So I have clients going down in October that bought the Universal Dining plan, and they'll get that. Basically, it's a dining card. I like it. I liked it because it was so flexible. You literally could, with your family of 4, you could say, Mom and Dad are going to get the dining plan. The kids are not. The kids will share food while Mom and Dad
like
use
the flexibility of it.
However, it almost was a little too flexible. I have a family going down in October, family of 3, and the parents are getting 4-day tickets. The kid is getting a 3-day ticket. The parents are getting quick service for 3 of the days and a full service for 1 day. The kid is getting like quick service for like 2 days, and that's it. They had a cup going on there where you could get a cup. It was like all like this. I have to have that meme with Charlie Day where he's pointing to the board. There's like lines everywhere, and that's what this trip is like. This is their dining. It's crazy. So it was almost too flexible, but I did like the ease of it because it was a card. It was basically one little card, and I used it when we went in April.
Although I do, it was gumming up mobile order a little bit because you could not mobile order, and I feel like that may have contributed to the lines. So anyway, it was shocking. Everybody was like, "What?"
Just a complete guesstimation here. Do you get the sense that maybe Universal wasn't as prepared for the crowds that they're getting as Disney is?
I get that.
I feel like Universal, and this is where Disney, because Disney's been watching Universal, and Universal's been pulling the trigger a lot faster than Disney on a lot of things, which is fine. We've kind of made fun of Disney here and there. But on the other hand, I kind of like how Disney's done things because they're kind of seeing how things are working. This happened.
They weren't just like, everybody come on in.
This happened last summer with reopening when Universal opened early in June, and Disney World's like, we're going to wait till July. We'll see what happens. And I kind of feel like they eased into theirs. And for the most part, it worked. When Universal dropped their mask mandate, Disney gave it another week or so before they did theirs. I get that. That's fine. I kind of get the sense, though, that Universal was so eager to get everything done, they weren't prepared for all the people that were rushing to their parks because the mobile order system got gummed up. I've heard the shuttles are taking longer. Universal's still wonderful, but it's like, pack your patience. That's why the Express Pass is so fantastic.
And that's why it's so important to have.
And that's why it's also why it's
Pass.
expensive, too, because they know people need it. It's very pricey. If you can afford it, get it. If not, we understand. But with Disney, I feel like I guess maybe they were caught off guard by the crowds as well, but this Park Pass reservation system has helped them figure out how many people are coming, which has been huge for them.
Because they can manage it a lot more easily than Universal in this case.
Exactly. And they haven't brought their dining plan back, which, by the way, they said they will bring their dining plan back. They have confirmed it is coming, and a little line on one of their emails that we get. Yes, the very popular Disney dining plan is returning, but we don't have a confirmed date yet. I've had
more information to follow.
Yes, I've had people reach out to me and, hey, let's add the dining plan. I've heard it's coming back. I've heard it's back. It's not back yet. We don't know when it's coming back, and we don't know what form it's coming back.
Right, and I'm guessing there will be some changes, and I think that's fine. And the other thing is, don't panic. If it becomes available on such and such a day, like September.
Yep.
like September, like
November
2nd.
Yep.
Whatever.
October, maybe. We don't know.
Yeah, October, that's fine. Whenever it does eventually show up, it's not like I have to have it added today. No, we'll get it added for your trip.
Yes.
It's going to be crazy, but it's not like a promotion thing that's limited time, so it might take a week or so to get it added, but don't worry, we'll get it on there, when it's time.
And also understand, too, that we can do dining reservations without the dining plan. And if you add the dining plan, we add it on later on. It doesn't affect your dining reservations. Whether you have dining reservations or not, the dining plan doesn't guarantee you having any reservations. It's part of a plan to manage those reservations. So don't think, well, I can't, if dining plan's not back, that means I can't go eat the Yak and Yeti or
Oh
I can't
no,
go eat
yeah,
with
you
Chef.
can
Yes, you can. You just have to
absolutely.
pay for it differently. You can't pay for it ahead of time. And if your trip is Tuesday, like it's next week, dining plan comes back tomorrow, we can add it. We'll just add it on. I mean, they're
Yeah,
going to allow you to add on because guess what? Disney will take your money.
they will always take your
They
money.
will take your money. I mean, like you can add this on probably previously up until like
3 days?
24, maybe 2
Oh,
days before your trip.
I thought it was 2 or 3 days, but
2 or
yeah,
3 days before your trip, they will take your money, and even afterwards, they'll try very hard to take your money if
they'll
they
they'll
can.
work. They'll make it work.
They'll figure out a way to take your money. Getting money back a little harder, but they'll be like, "You want to give us money? Okay, we'll take it. Sure, why not? Give us that $1,000 you're going to have for eating for your family of 3 for 2 days.
Fine.
Why not?"
Fine.
Also coming back, the early entry program. Now,
Yes.
this is a little tricky because in previous
Yes.
weeks we've seen for
Mhm.
Disney World since they've reopened, I think they've been a little kind of unofficial in terms of when they let people in the park. Like I'm
Yeah,
hearing
which they
stories of
always
anywhere.
have.
Yeah, they always have. So here's the thing. Okay, so let me the plan itself.
Yes.
Or how it's working now. Early entry, you're going to be guaranteed 30 minutes ahead of time into the park. So let's just say the park opens at 9 for everybody. You'll guarantee to get in at 8:00, 8:30 if you are a resort guest. If you're staying
Yes.
on property, okay. If you're staying in a deluxe resort or a deluxe villa resort, Bay Lake, Contemporary, Old Key West, Saratoga, one of the deluxes, you will then get extended evening hours on certain nights in certain theme parks. So it's almost like the extra magic hours they had at Magic Kingdom that would stay open an hour later, or Epcot up until
Mhm.
they stay up until 11 instead of 9,
Mhm.
things like that. These will begin in early October with specific dates and parks to be shared at a
Yes.
later time. So we'll see a map on those. This is only for deluxe resorts. So it's one of the perks of being in a deluxe resort.
Mhm.
You get to stay later in the parks. Now, as far as opening goes, so if the park opens at 9, Magic Kingdom opens at 9, and they let you in at 8:30.
8:30.
Currently, they're letting you in anywhere from 8:15 to 8:30. My guess is, and you can tell me if you think I'm wrong here. My guess is they don't want that backflow of people at the gate. Like there's usually the people crowd around the
Correct.
gate trying to get in,
Mhm.
so they let people
Mhm.
kind of come on in to a certain point up to the hub,
Yeah.
through Main Street. Because guess what? They'll let you shop because they want your money. So they'll let you into the hub, and then at whatever time, 8:30 or 9, they'll let
They
you in.
drop the rope. Mhm.
So I don't know if now this 30 minutes is going to back up that letting you in time a
I
little
think so.
farther.
It
you
used
know?
to with the early magic hour, it did.
Mhm.
Because I'm just thinking back to when they had like morning magic hours. It
Right.
did back up when they would allow you into the park
Right.
to line up. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think they're going to, I mean, and they'll check your magic bands or your tickets or whatever you have to
Or
make sure that
whatever you
you're a
have.
resort guest as
Mhm.
well. So
Mhm.
that's coming sometime in October. That'll be official. Unofficially, like I said, they're still letting you in. Run Disney also returning. And this was also,
Yes.
well, this wasn't out of nowhere. We knew this was coming. We just didn't know when. And they
Mhm.
have announced that they are on their way back now and they are returning to, let's see. Okay. Yeah. So it has been announced where Disney races will return to Walt Disney World with the Wine and Dine Marathon happening in November, the 4th
I
to the
cannot
7th. I was
believe
shocked.
I cannot believe they're doing that one. I was like, what?
I was like, holy crap. That's like
Whoa.
4 months from now. Marathon
Yeah.
weekend, the 5th through the 9th of January. The Princess Half Marathon weekend, February 24th to 27th. And the Run Disney Springtime Surprise Weekend. This was formerly the Star Wars weekend
Star
or
Wars, yeah.
whatever. I mean, I think Star Wars was in April, but they always had a spring event for the Star Wars
Mhm.
stuff. And now it's the Run Disney Springtime Surprise weekend, March 31st to April 3rd. Now, previously, I'm going to go back to the way it was pre-COVID. Us travel agents had the benefit of helping you, the runner, out. But we would be able to book
Mhm.
your packages ahead of time and get your race registration ahead of time. So you didn't have to worry about getting online with 10,000
Yeah.
of your closest friends that ought to all wrangle
Mhm.
for a race registration. Now they've said that we can't do that yet. Right now, it's
Mhm.
you have to, we can do your packages. I've actually done a couple of these Run Disney
Yeah.
packages for people. We get your rooms, but you have to do your own race registration. Or I mean, if you trust your travel agent to do it for you, you can. I don't want to do somebody's race registration
No,
because I don't know enough about the registrations, but I
as
don't
somebody who's
recommend that.
done the
Yeah.
Run Disney, like it's unless it's a pre-registration thing where it's not like a
Yeah.
like, oh, I have to be really fast. It's so much better for you as
Yeah,
the
because there's a lot of
runner to do
information
your bib
you gotta fill
information
out.
because there's so much information and it's going to be
Mhm.
automatic for you.
Yeah.
And then also there's waivers and stuff you have to
Yeah,
sign.
you don't want to sign that.
But I
So
mean,
yeah.
I will say that there was a time like way back when it was like 2013, 2014 when people were doing
Mhm.
Run Disney races. And for an agency to sell bibs, you had to pre-purchase like
Right.
50. a block. And it was, I mean, I didn't have 50 Run
Yeah.
Disney clients, and then I was going to lose the money on the other one, 45 bibs.
Right.
So that's always how my clients ended up having it. And it's very doable. You just, it at least was noon Eastern time whenever those registrations were open on whatever the given day is. Just make sure you're on your computer. Done.
Yep. And I believe, is it today maybe that
it-
the opens up for
Oh,
wine and dine?
possibly.
It's very close.
It's very close, if
It's
not.
very close.
Yeah. So to keep an eye, but if there's a race
Yep.
that you want to run, just keep your eye open.
Yep.
Or ask one of us for the dates. We'll get you the date. And
Virtual races are also available as well. So if you do want to run virtually, you
Yes.
can. I've got a virtual 5K this summer for the Lion King medals that they offered, which I'm really excited about. And I finally started running again, Jen.
oh, that's
Finally started running again. I'm 23 pounds down. I feel like the running now is going to increase that. And
Sure.
I'm excited. Finally
It's
going to be able
awesome.
to wear some
Get a
shirts.
Lion King medal.
Great. Lion King medal. My Lion King medal coming my way.
Yay.
My first race medal. So that's happening with Run Disney. And Coco added to Mickey's PhilharMagic.
Yeah.
And I'm super excited about this. This
And
looks
I didn't get to
fantastic.
see it because I
So-
announced it while I was down there.
Well, no, they haven't added it to Walt
They
Disney
haven't.
World
No,
yet.
it's middle of the month.
Yeah, Disneyland, I think, is getting it early. I think they may already have it.
Possibly.
And then they're adding Coco, of course, to Walt Disney World sometime
Yeah.
middle to end of July, which is exciting.
Yes.
I don't know if it's replacing anything. That's the whole thing. Is I'm not
know.
sure
I'm
what it's going to be
like,
replacing.
What might it replace though? It's like it wouldn't be the Be Our Guest scene.
No. I'm okay if they replace something like the Peter Pan scene, only because it's so short. It's
It
such
is
a
really
short
short.
little scene there with Peter Pan. Okay, so looking here online, I believe it's going to be fall. By October 1st is when
Okay.
when it's going to get added. Disney California Adventure at Disneyland Paris is July 17th. Magic Kingdom later on this fall, which for the Walt Disney World celebration beginning October 1st. So that's what it looks like. So we won't get to see it if we went early, but we should be able to see it in the fall when we all go down
Hopefully.
for the 50th, which
That'll
is
be good.
exciting. And finally, Fast Passes. Let's talk a little bit of Fast Pass rumors and rumblings and what we
they're
know.
Rumbling
So-
like crazy.
So here's what we know. Disneyland Paris is retiring the Fast Pass system, the confirmed Fast Pass system, and they're going to a Disney Premier Access. Okay.
Yes.
So we don't exactly know what that looks like in terms of, if it's the deluxe resort, you get it free or whatever, but you basically, you pay for your Fast Passes.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not going to tell you this is how it works. I'm not going to Disneyland Paris. This is not really a Disneyland Paris podcast, so I can't tell you for sure. Don't base
This
your
is just
Disneyland
what we're reading.
don't base your Disneyland Paris news on what we're going to tell you because I don't know. Otherwise, they're going to do that. Now, we do know Disneyland has Max Pass. They have
Yes.
regular Fast Passes on the phone.
Well, not currently, but
Not currently, but that's what they've had before. And they had
have
Max
had.
Pass, where at $15 a day, and you
Mhm.
get basically access to getting Fast Passes a lot faster. I mean, it's a lot easier. It's so much faster system rather than getting paper Fast Passes or whatever. Walt Disney World is the big question because people just don't know what it looks like. Now, we had gone from paper Fast Passes over the last several years to regular Fast Passes on your on that Fast Pass Plus on your phone, which has been great. And on your Magic Bands and such, we do the Fast Passes 60 days ahead of time, and so you know for a trip starting in September, you're going to be able to go to and do Seven Doors Mine Train, and on Tuesday I get to do Millennium Falcon Smugglers Run and Slinky Dog Dash, whatever. We have no idea what this is going to look like. We
None.
don't know. Now the rumors are flying about what it might look like. Honestly, it would not shock me that they went to some sort of paid system.
We've been saying this for months, and
saying this for months. Yeah,
saying it for months. I would not
I'm
be
hoping
surprised.
they don't do it at $15 a day thing because again,
I don't think it would
a
be
5-day trip for Disney World is recommended in my opinion. People
Yeah,
ask me how long
at
should I stay?
least,
I say 5
yeah.
days, 1 day at each park and a day to either rest or do other things.
Mhm.
But you're talking a family of 4. That's $60 times 5. That's $300 for your Fast Passes. That's a lot. Now, I'm not saying Disney won't do it. So yeah, I don't know how they're going to come back. I really don't. I would expect it to be some sort of paid system. I'm hoping it's not too
thinking.
expensive, and I'm hoping it's.
I don't think
a
it'll
bit-
be.
People are going to grumble regardless. I
They
mean,
are. They're gonna be
honestly,
mad, and it's,
you know.
I think it'll be more of for Disney World. I think it almost has to be a flat rate. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? I
Yeah.
really think it kind of has to be in addition to the ticket because unlike Max Pass, people go to Disney World for a
Right.
long period of time.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah,
But we don't know. And so if anybody out
knows?
there is like, oh, I know how they're going to come back, they don't know because nobody said
knows.
anything. And honestly, Disney World hasn't confirmed that they're coming back with Fast
they
Passes.
have not.
Now, we think they
Mm-mm.
are. We assume they are, just like we assumed the dining plan would be coming back.
Right.
They have yet to even say
Rumors are
they're
everywhere.
bringing Fast Passes back. So
If
there's
you
a
were reading
there's
the
a chance there.
rumors,
Yeah. There's a
then
chance there they may not.
I mean, but
You know.
if you're reading the sites that are like, and they'll usually say rumor, but at the
Mhm.
same time, it's like, yeah, they don't know anything.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
if
Disney World
Disney
survived
doesn't
for
say it. No.
yeah, they survived for 31 years with no Fastpass system whatsoever.
Yes.
So who knows?
Yes. And well, and also
Who
I will
knows?
say, having just been there, and I'm sure we'll talk
Mhm.
about this,
Right.
the lines, between
Mhm.
45 minutes and an hour was standard, but there were times when I was through faster, and
Yeah.
the lines kept moving. And I just kept
Right.
thinking, if there are fast passes, this
Mhm.
line would be way longer because we would be waiting.
Well, if I had to guess, this is off the top of my head, my guess would be that Disney is still working on assessing how the fast passes are going to work because
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to assess your crowds when your line is distance 3 to 6 feet and your Toy Story Mania line is going all the way down out the entrance and into Pixar Place.
Although most of
Now
that
that
is gone
I was
now.
going to say, now that that's gone, you get a
Mm-hmm.
more truer sense of what your lines actually
Yes.
look like, which is
Mm-hmm.
really interesting. So now I'm wondering if maybe they can start really taking a hard look of, okay, so now we see what our lines look like. We're at
Right.
capacity for some days. And being at capacity, you get an idea of, okay, this is as bad as it gets. So
Yeah.
what do we do with this right here at this point in time? Because we have to be at least 50% capacity, if not more. That's a guess. I don't know, but I would imagine. So that actually is going to transition into what we're going to talk about is your trip. You had a Disney
Yes,
trip and you got invited to come
did.
down as an agency owner, which is awesome, to be a part of the
Mhm.
opening ceremonies, the reimagining, the re-debut, or whatever you call it,
Yay.
the re-return of Happily Ever After, and of course the Epcot Forever over in Epcot.
Yes. Mhm.
So just real quick, let's run through the trip real quick. Where were you staying? Where did you stay?
Mhm.
Was it no? It couldn't be All Star Sports. They weren't open. So All Star Movies. Could you get a room at All Star Movies? Preferred
Wow.
room. Had to be preferred room
Wow.
because Jen is
Yeah.
bougie and she doesn't do standard. She has to do preferred room at All Star
Oh
Movies.
my
Correct?
gosh. Yeah, I was at the
Okay.
Grand.
Let me just say this though. I am bougie enough that I do not do standard rooms at value resorts. I will do a preferred.
Look
And
at that.
when I
You
quote clients, I never quote standard. I
see,
always go
you're
in with
high
preferred.
maintenance in your own way, David.
I'm just
though.
saying.
You are
I'm
high
just
maintenance
saying.
in your own way.
I never do standard. I always, and the one time, sometimes I end up getting
Yeah.
a standard and I grumble about it because 2009,
Mhm.
we're on a trip, myself and Steph and our friends, her best friend and best friend's husband. We went down there as a foursome and they had a room,
Yeah.
we had a room, whatever. We were standard All Star Sports. And we came off. This first time we had been in a couple of years at that point. This is not.
Yeah.
This is back before we were going 17 times a year, unlike the 30
Right.
70 go per year. We were our feet were blistered. We were walking across the entire resort, and as we're walking past the preferred room buildings, I'm looking at them, going, "I could be in my room right now, like resting my feet, but no, I got to walk to the freaking tennis ball can stairway over there across the resort." And we sat down. And finally, get back to our room. We sat down in the room, and I'm like, "Never again. We're always going preferred every time." Of course,
Every
now my
time.
wife's like, "Preferred in a deluxe or a moderate. We're never going to tell you again."
I love
But
that.
anywhere, so that's me.
Yeah.
So yeah, where you stay at Grand Floridian, of course,
So
because
yeah,
you're
Grand
Jen.
Floridian was the main part. Now I will
Yep.
say I did fly in the evening before. That's a
Mhm.
whole other story right
Yeah,
there.
skull.
Stayed over at the airport hotel, which is what I've been doing recently.
Right.
Just to save this. It's different if it's like there was an event. I knew that the event was that first night. So
Now, if
I
you fly in, I know you rent a car, but if you fly in, let's say on a Thursday and your trip starts on Friday, you can still get the Magical Express on Friday.
Oh,
correct?
absolutely.
That's what I thought.
Absolutely.
As long as you're at the airport.
As long as you're at the airport. I just have started flying in at night. That way, and Brady was with me, so he got to, sort of have that whole day to work.
Right.
And then we weren't, well, I would say we weren't stressed getting there, but again, some flight issues. But in any case, stayed at the Grand Floridian, checked in there on, I guess it was last Thursday.
Mhm.
And amazing. We had the full day. The schedule for us was Epcot the first night and then Magic Kingdom the second night. So Epcot Forever fireworks debuted, and there was a special private dessert party, which was really,
Of course,
really
saw
nice.
the pictures. They were delicious
Oh my gosh,
looking.
they also were delicious looking.
Mhm.
And tasting, because I also tasted them.
course
The churros, the flambe churros.
Flambe churros.
Flambe churros.
That's the name of my emo Mexican band from the 90s. Let me just say.
Yeah, the flambe churros.
Mexican emo band.
They were delightful. A la mode. Also, they would put ice cream on top of that.
I should say that's the name of my emo mariachi band from the 90s. That's what this is.
Oh my gosh. So yeah. But the thing was, it was raining. We were supposed to have the dessert party
Right.
outdoors, but it rained. Like, I don't want to say all day,
Mm-hmm.
but when the skies opened up at 3 p.m., they opened up and they just kind of like stayed. Now, fortunately, at about 4 o'clock, we were like, you know what? Let's go back. Let's change and freshen up. Our room's ready. It's
Mhm.
looking kind of gloomy. And then we'll come back, this evening. We got back into our room and no lie, 5 minutes later, it was like thunderstorms
Right.
and,
Yep.
took a little nap. It was good. And then got ready. Still raining. It was still raining. At that point, we'd gotten the message. It is not outside of Italy.
Mhm.
It is indoors at Akershus.
Yeah, we'll take that.
which was fine.
Right.
And yeah,
Now,
went there.
Akershus is not open though as a restaurant. at
No,
this
no,
point.
no, no.
That's what I
They
thought.
did.
Yeah.
The
Yeah. I mean,
space
this is
was
obviously
just
special for you, but it's not open for anything.
well, it had been used as the relaxation station for the masks.
Okay.
When
Okay. Yeah.
before that was lifted.
Previous princess breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but is not reopened to
Right.
guests yet
For
as
guests
in any
yet.
form. Okay.
Therefore, the space was empty, so
Gotcha.
they
Okay.
just set everything up in there,
Got it.
which was really nice. And then afterward, escorted us out to that viewing area over
Mm-hmm.
by Italy.
Okay.
It was amazing. Got to see everything. It was drizzling a little bit, but it didn't
Mhm.
affect the fireworks going off.
Right.
So that was nice.
Gorgeous
In my he-
fireworks.
In my head, I'm like, the forecast for tomorrow night looks a lot better. Fingers crossed, because I was like, I don't think Tinkerbell could fly today. I don't think with this
Mhm.
storm, like the wind, I don't think Tinkerbell's flying in this. So next day, woke up, Magic Kingdom, amazing. Like we had our priorities. Haunted Mansion and Pirates. Haunted Mansion was down the first half of the day. I'm like, if I do not get to ride Haunted Mansion, I'm gonna be ticked.
Now I'm hearing
Ticked.
that the stretching room was reopened at the Haunted
It
Mansion.
is. That's what I was
Yes.
gonna say.
And of course, I sent you the
So-
video, the picture of the Madame Leona
Yes.
Magic Band, which looks amazing,
looks
limited
amazing.
time. So
And a quasi producer, Heather, got
Mhm.
the new Leota ears, who I
Oh,
saw
wow.
them in the parks,
uh-huh.
but I couldn't find them anywhere. And then she found one pair at the Emporium. I'm like, you jerk.
I'm sure
texted me.
she'll send them to you.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Okay.
Sure, yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But the stretch room is back. So it's funny. The line was quoted at 50 minutes. It wasn't a 50-minute line. I mean, I wasn't in it that long, but
Mhm.
the line kept stopping. It kept stopping. You know what? I'm like,
Right.
why is it? Oh, so yeah, it was just amazing. Of course, I had my video and I was like, it's back.
Can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see the stretching room again. It's been so
And
long.
I would just like to say, I've still got it. Number one, I don't know the whole spiel. I mouthed it to myself. I didn't say it out loud.
Right.
Number two, I know exactly where to stand so that you're the first one out of the stretch room,
Yep.
like, because we're like backs up.
Yep.
And there was nobody else in there. So I think they're really sort of letting that drain before like filling it back up. So I
Right.
think they're sort of
Right.
timing it a
That makes
little
sense.
bit more spaced out.
Makes sense.
But oh yeah, first one's out of the stretch room
Did you
again.
hear them say fill in all available spaces?
Yes, fill in
Yes.
all the dead
Disney's
space.
back, by the way.
Fill in
Disney is
all
back.
the dead space. I was like, "Yeah." And not just in that one. It was in several queues.
Can you
They're
imagine
like,
being the cast member that gets to say that for like the first time? Like coming into work and their lead is going, okay, your script, you get to throw back in all the dead space. I would be saying it with the biggest grin on my face. I'd be like, I'd be so into it. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, like they're like, there's some space up there. Like even on Sunday we went to Hollywood Studios and we did
Mhm.
Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I know I'm skipping ahead, but the pre-show was back there too.
I didn't know there was a pre-show. I had no idea there was no clue.
Yes,
I was
nobody does.
I was last week old when I found out there was a pre-show because
You didn't know-
we went in March of 2020.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. We went in September 2020.
September
We were
2020.
going to go in March. They had opened Mickey's Minnie's Runaway
In
Runaway
March.
Railway in March. It had closed
Yep.
like 3 weeks later because the whole park's closed.
Yep.
We went in September, loved the ride, had no clue there was a pre-show. And Stephanie,
Uh-huh.
my beloved wife, and I were talking, and she was reading the news, and she was like, "Did you know there was a pre-show to Mickey's and Minnie's Runaway Railway?"
Yeah.
No, there's a pre-show. Yeah, there's a pre-show. What?
Yep.
No clue. I'm
That
so
was the one
excited.
thing that they had asked us when I was at the media preview
Mhm.
not to really share it because it's a really, really cool thing what they do in
Right.
the pre-show. And so only like 2 weeks of people got to experience it before it shut down. So we went this time. Brady looks and he goes, "This ride makes more sense now."
That's amazing.
He's like,
can't
"I
wait to
understand
see
the
it.
story."
I can't wait to see it. I'm so
It
excited to
is
see
so good. And I
Good.
mean, it really enhances the whole experience.
Right.
So, but again, it's the same thing. The line kept moving,
Mm-hmm.
but then there are little spots where you have to stop because you got to wait for that.
it. Right. Now, is the plexiglass still up
No.
in a lot of the rides?
Well,
Okay,
it's
good.
it was up in some of them, but not all of
Okay.
them by any
Gotcha.
stretch. And
Cool.
not outdoors, mainly
Mhm.
like sort of the indoor queues. The
Right.
Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway plexiglass was still
Okay.
up.
Yeah.
That's one that I notably that I remember.
And the
Tower of
Seven
Terror.
Dwarfs- Seven Dwarfs Mine Train had theirs up for a
Theirs
while.
was still up.
Okay.
The Tower of Terror pre-show is back too. I wanted
Okay,
to
good
mention
deal.
that.
Awesome.
So that's also back. I did not. There was no plexiglass, although I don't remember any plexiglass there.
Mhm.
Anyway,
And you can make a car now, I believe, in Test Track. They're
you can
letting
make
do
a
that
car
again,
now
which
in
is
Test
awesome.
Track.
So excited. This is wonderful.
Yeah, like everything is really coming back. All the distancing markers were gone. I think I saw
Mhm.
like one maybe
Right.
that was like left over, but that was the only
Right,
one.
right.
It's like, oh, they
Right.
missed that one. So it was fantastic. But the lines kept moving still.
Mhm.
And it felt more open because the lines weren't stretched so far outside.
Because people were in the lines.
Because people were inside.
This is
in the
good.
queue,
Yes.
which is
They
a
were
good
inside the
thing.
queue. Yeah.
Yeah. So like when you were moving through different
Mhm.
sections, it was a lot better. It's a
Like
lot more
you don't have
open.
Rock and Roller Coaster stretching all the way back to past Tower of Terror, where they're like like having cast members there directing people across, having you stop so other people can cross, and it's just it's insane. So Epcot was fantastic. The thing was the whole
amazing.
Epcot Forever, awesome.
Epcot Forever, awesome. And then the next day, like I said, Magic Kingdom there
Mhm.
during the day. We kind of got sidetracked by the pre-shows, which is awesome.
Yep.
But it rained, of course, thunderstorm in the afternoon,
Mhm.
and then it just kept getting better, and it kept getting better. And I was like, it's cleared up. And so it's just like a little partially cloudy. Again, wonderful little dessert party on Tomorrowland Terrace that is not back for sale yet. That was kind of a special event, but hopefully it will be. We will, of course, give the news whenever they announce that those dessert parties are back.
Mhm.
Cute little things, and I had a great space. I did try to go live. Signal, everybody and their mother was trying to go live, and I mean, I tried with Wi-Fi, without Wi-Fi, it kept dropping signal. So eventually, I just recorded the last section and I did post it on my Facebook page. But Tinkerbell flew. I had a perfect, like, she was like almost right over my head. It was amazing. She flew
awesome.
down, and I teared up, cried. I was sitting with some, of course, with Brady and then some of our other owner friends, and we had a lovely chat and a lovely time.
Of course. Good. The pictures look amazing.
Yes.
I've seen the video of the fireworks, and I saw the video of Tinkerbell. I think whoever was filming it was crying because she was showing the video and you could hear her going, I mean, like sniffling a little bit. And she was like, there goes Tinkerbell. She's back. I'm so excited. It's really exciting.
That's what was so special about it, honestly, was it's like I was here. Actually, that's kind of cool. I was there at the opening night for Happily Ever After.
Yep.
At a media event. And then I was there for like basically reopening. So that was every time I'm like, whoa.
Well, Steph was also there opening up for Happily Ever After. So you guys were there together with 15,000 of your closest friends.
Yes, 50,000 of our closest friends.
Which is awesome. She was one of the blessed people that got to be there for Wishes last night and Happily Ever After's first night. She did them both back to back. And was so excited. I'm like, she leads a blessed life, and she's like, I could die now and be happy, and things are awesome. And that's the thing about the fireworks, and what's exciting about it, because we're marking these things one by one as they come back. Hotels are opening, and which is exciting, and we've got we heard rumors of the dining plan. We know the dining plan's coming back. We're hearing Fastpass rumors and filling all available spaces and the distancing markers. To me, the fireworks is a major demarcation of we are here.
I think we've said that is like when fireworks are up. Okay, don't add us. We know the pandemic isn't over, but we're like, but COVID's over. If the fireworks are up, we know that's not true. Don't add us. But that was like our litmus test of like, okay, wait. One other thing that we haven't mentioned. It's super important to know.
Yes,
the camel at Aladdin's Magic Carpets is spinning again.
Oh, how exciting. Maybe you can like that ride again. I know that you hate that ride.
You know what?
I love that attraction. I love that attraction. When I'm on that attraction, I'm like, I'm holding my hands up and I'm like, I volunteer as tribute for Marcy and Rory, and I'm loving this ride. I'm loving this attraction.
I will tell you, I took a video of the camel spinning just for Rory because it was raining, so it was a little hard to see, but I was like, wait, I think that camel just spit. Like,
for the listeners out there, we throw out Marcy and Rory's name several times, and the reason that is because Marcy is kind of Jen's boss, and Marcy's like my grand boss basically. Rory is her beautiful daughter, and so they're fans of the show. We've communicated with them about this podcast, and so we like to throw their
Yeah.
name out there as kind of a running fun thing here and there. So that's when we say Marcy. That is who Marcy is, and she loves Aladdin's Magic Carpet like I do. And I'm sorry that Jen doesn't like it. And it's okay. It's you have your preferences. I know you're a big fan of.
Well, you know
Stitch's
what? That is
Great
not.
Escape and
I
Alien
just am not going
Encounter
to
and
wait
whatever.
2 hours for Aladdin's Magic Carpets. I'm not going to do it in the.
I mean,
blazing
sometimes
hot
the
sun.
magic is worth waiting for. It's just it's a
Yeah,
personal,
at
personal
night.
preference.
At
That's
night
true.
after sunset when
That's
it's
true.
not 2 million degrees in surface of the sun in Adventureland.
Kind of like waiting for astro orbiters. There's no way I'd do that either. So,
Again,
yeah.
as we've discussed, I don't want
Yes.
astro orbiters to go away. I'm not waiting in the hot sun for it.
Right, it's insane. So anything, I mean, I know obviously the fireworks is the big thing, but
That was
you kind of get a that sense of feels like more normal than any time I've been here in the last year or so. I mean, did you kind of get that sense of normalcy that's really hitting you?
Absolutely. I mean, I just was looking around as I was walking. I was like, yep, the crowds are
Mhm.
back. This feels as normal as it's felt since the reopening last July.
Right. I'm
And
excited.
I mean, I know there are still a few things to reopen,
Mhm.
still, we passed Enchanted Tales with Belle, and Brady's like, when's that reopening? I'm like, well, that one, just because of the performers, I'm sure it might
Right.
still take a little bit more time, but I'm just thinking in my head, man, this is going to need to reopen because
Mhm.
I'm just saying,
You got to
like,
have somewhere to put these people.
exactly.
That's
We need to get, but
that's why the
no,
shows need to reopen. So
that's
or
why
all-
the shows
yeah.
need to reopen, and I think, well, there are some of them are, and Festival of the Lion King's back, so hopefully we're going to get more and more of those
Very cool.
coming back.
Well, I think that's a good place to wrap up. I think this is been a good little trip report, and so yeah, we're real excited about following you online. So for future trips, now are the trip you have coming up, and now you don't have to go into great detail. Does it involve any park time? Does it involve any kind of thing like that, or is it going to be mostly seminars and conferences and meetings
Seminars and conferences and
Mhm.
meetings. I'll be in Fort Lauderdale, so I won't
Okay.
even. 3 hours from Disney.
Yeah, so you'll be standing on the balcony of your room, looking out in the distance, going, "I miss you, Cinderella's castle. I'm right here."
Exactly.
Thinking in your mind, I could rent a car for a day. It's going to cost me $1,000, but is it worth
Literally.
it? Maybe. So,
Like, I've got my annual pass. Can I get a park reservation anywhere?
I want annual passes to come back so bad. I'm waiting for annual passes to come back.
Oh,
We're in a position now where we can purchase
Mhm.
them if they come back soon. I don't want them to come back in like November and we're like, well, crap, we can't do anything because we just had to buy Christmas for everybody. But I'm like crossing my fingers, going, maybe, come on. annual passes.
I think they'll probably be back.
Mhm. Yeah.
I think.
Hope so. We'll see.
Yeah.
So, Jen, where can we find you online to follow your exploits and adventures and also see the pictures you've already posted with all the fun Disney
Yes.
stuff?
Add Upon a Star Jen, and then also Jen_Novotny on Instagram specifically. At Add Upon a Star Jen is everywhere, and then at Jen_Novotny is specifically Instagram. But you can
Fun
check
times.
that out.
Now, of course, you also forgot to mention this. You also got to see several of our beloved agents from the
did.
park at the parks. There, you saw
Yeah.
Plaza producer Heather.
Yes.
You saw beloved Sarah Kramer.
Yes.
You got to see the wonderful Emily, which was awesome. I saw the
Yes.
pictures and stuff, and of course, Downeaster Alexa was there, but she was across into the park every
But
time. y'all missed each
we
other.
just kept
So,
missing each other,
yeah.
so I didn't get to see Alexa. But yeah, I hung out with Heather and Emily a
Mhm.
little bit at Wilderness Lodge. I got to see Sarah Kramer at Beach Club. And that's half the fun is when you're down there, you're like, wait, our friends are there. What?
Right. Well, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I likely would have made time to go find Downeaster Alexa. I mean, it's just Disney World is big, but it's not that big. I could have hopped in the car and drove even for 5 minutes just to meet out in front of a resort
Alexa,
and say, hey,
you
how
need-
you doing? Get a picture. I'm just saying,
Alexa, back
I
me
would have
up
done
here.
that. It's okay that you didn't. You're too busy. You're the boss, and you're
Oh
like,
my
I got too
gosh.
many things to do. I gotta go Rat Space Mountain again. I get it. I understand.
My gosh.
I'm just saying. Just
I
these points.
the-
here.
none of the listeners believe you. Just saying.
No, probably not. Find me online at the Magic on a Dollar on Instagram. Go on Facebook, find me Magic on a Dollar and Disney on a Dollar. Guys, I am just crossed 6,900 likes on my Disney page. Disney on a Dollar. I'm less than 100 from 7,000 likes, so you can get me there. I believe in you. I believe in you. And so I would love to get there to 7,000. I've heard when you get to 10,000, Facebook begins to charge you for like reach and stuff. So I don't know that I want to get to 10,000 because I'm afraid I won't be reaching as many people. I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
'Cause
gotcha.
they're like, oh, well, you're a big deal now. Now you can start paying us money to to advertise.
Pay to
No,
play.
not at all. Find us, of course, online at the MSE Podcast. That's on
Yep.
Facebook. That's on Instagram. That's on Twitter. And we try to post in all those places as well. But also, since you're following me in all the places and you're following Jen in all the places and the podcast in all the places, if you need a little more Disney and travel in your feed, which we know you do,
Who doesn't?
follow Upon a Star Travel. Upon a Star Travel on
Yeah.
Facebook and on Instagram. Now, we will tell you that, hey, yes, we can definitely book you on these trips, but a lot of times we just post stuff. And I think Disney Mom Kyla does a lot of the work where she does a lot of stuff on Instagram. And I think Meredith, I believe, does some of the Facebook stuff. And so we've got different agents doing different things, posting different stuff all the time. So it's fun. The world is crazy and the news is everywhere. And the stuff Facebook and Twitter, sometimes cesspools. I love Instagram because I can just scroll and see pictures. I'm like,
And
oh,
fun
look,
pictures. Yay!
there's a fun there's somebody with a drink in their hand. Oh, look, there's a beach. Oh, look, there's a castle.
Yes.
And just I love it. I love seeing
Yeah.
the fun things. It's just Facebook. I mean, Instagram is an escape for me, which is awesome.
Yeah,
And
exactly. Same.
That's why when I'm on stories, I'm like, oh, they're doing something political. Keep scrolling.
Yep.
Keep going.
Tap, tap.
I'll save that for Twitter. So that is our show, folks. We hope you guys have had a wonderful time here on the show. And of course, we hope you had a wonderful 4th of July. We will see you back next week. Thank you so much, Jen, once again for joining us. Have fun on your agency trippy thing where you're going to be 3 hours from the park and not having any fun at all. But I'm sure you'll be fine. I'm sure you'll learn some stuff or whatever. For Jen, I am Dave. And hey, don't forget to thank your Phoenicians.
Thank you for listening to the Main Street Electrical Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the MSE Podcast, or visit our website at themsepodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe, and may all your wishes come true.